Caves have fascinated humans for centuries, offering a glimpse into Earth's hidden world. But behind their beauty lies a deadly truth. Caves can be some of the most treacherous places on the planet. For those who venture too deep or take the wrong turn, these natural wonders can quickly become tombs. In this video, we will dive into the harrowing tales of the most painful cave deaths ever recorded. These are not just stories of misfortune. They are warnings about the limits of human exploration. Jon Edward Jones, a 26-year-old medical student, had a passion for adventure. In November 2009, he joined his family on a trip to Nutty Putty Cave in Utah, a popular spot for amateur cavers. The cave was known for its tight, winding passages and required careful navigation. For Jon, this was an opportunity to test his limits. With his brother by his side, Jon decided to explore a notoriously tight passage called the Birth Canal. This narrow tunnel was so small that only the slimmest cavers could pass through. As Jon squeezed his way into the passage, he miscalculated the turn and ended up in an even narrower, unmapped section. The tunnel was just 10 inches wide and sloped downward, forcing Jon into an awkward upside-down position. At first, Jon believed he could free himself. He struggled to push back, but every movement only wedged him tighter. Panic set in as his breathing became labored. His brother tried to help, but quickly realized the situation was beyond his control. Rescuers arrived within hours. They worked tirelessly, using ropes, pulleys, and drills to try and free Jon. They communicated with him, offering reassurance and hope. At one point, they managed to move him slightly, but the unstable rock threatened to collapse, forcing them to stop. As the hours turned into a full day, Jon's condition worsened. Being upside down for so long caused blood to pool in his head, leading to unbearable pressure. Despite his pain, Jon remained calm and even joked with his rescuers. He asked them to tell his wife and daughter that he loved them. But after 28 hours of effort, Jon's body could no longer handle the strain. He suffered cardiac arrest and passed away in the same position he had been trapped in. The tragedy of Jon Edward Jones shocked the caving community. Nutty Putty Cave was sealed permanently, with Jon's body still inside, serving as a grim reminder of the risks of cave exploration. Floyd Collins was a legend in Kentucky, known for his fearless exploration of underground caves. In the 1920s, he was determined to find a cave system that could be turned into a tourist attraction. He believed the caves near Mammoth Cave National Park held great potential for tourism, as the area was already attracting adventurers and explorers. Floyd's dream was not just to discover new caves, but to change his family's fortune. On January 30th, 1925, Floyd entered Sand Cave, a narrow and unstable cavern near the park. He carried with him only a lantern, a few tools, and a bag of supplies. The entrance was tight, but Floyd had navigated through worse conditions before. He was used to crawling through tight spaces with little room to breathe. What he didn't know was that this journey would be his last. Deep inside the cave, Floyd discovered a promising passage that he thought could lead to a larger chamber. Excited by the discovery, he moved forward with determination. But as he crawled through the narrow passage, disaster struck. A massive boulder above him dislodged and pinned his left leg against the wall. The boulder weighed nearly a ton, making it impossible for Floyd to move. He was trapped in a cold, dark passage, barely big enough to move his arms. Floyd shouted for help, his cries echoing through the cavern. Hours passed before a local farmer heard his voice and rushed to get help. Rescuers arrived quickly, but freeing Floyd proved far more challenging than anyone expected. The unstable cave walls made it impossible to use heavy equipment, and the narrow tunnels limited the number of people who could assist at one time. As news of Floyd's predicament spread, hundreds of people gathered outside the cave. Reporters from across the country arrived to cover the story, and updates were broadcast over the radio. The situation turned into a media spectacle, with people selling food and souvenirs near the site as if it were a festival. Meanwhile, Floyd remained trapped, enduring freezing temperatures, starvation, and complete darkness. Rescuers managed to bring him food and water through a small opening, but it was not enough to keep him strong. Despite his dire situation, Floyd remained hopeful, even cracking jokes with the rescuers who risked their lives to help him. For 14 agonizing days, Floyd held on. Engineers attempted to dig a new tunnel to reach him, but the unstable rock caused multiple collapses, delaying progress. On February 16th, tragedy struck when the tunnel collapsed entirely, cutting off all access to Floyd. Days later, when rescuers finally reached his location, it was too late. Floyd had passed away alone in the darkness. Floyd's story captured the nation's attention, sparking debates about the ethics of dangerous exploration. His body was eventually recovered and buried, but his tragic tale remains one of the most haunting in caving history. Today, Sand Cave serves as a grim reminder of the risks involved in underground exploration. Pluto Cave in Norway is a diver's worst nightmare. Known for its icy waters, narrow underwater tunnels, and unpredictable currents, it is one of the most dangerous cave systems in the world. For experienced divers, however, it is a challenge too tempting to resist. In February 2014, a group of 5 skilled divers set out to conquer Pluto Cave. Among them were Jari Kuosmanen and Patrick Grönqvist, 2 Finnish divers with years of experience navigating extreme underwater environments. They were confident in their abilities and had carefully planned their dive. The group's goal was to traverse an underwater passage over 400 feet long, connecting 2 chambers deep within the cave. The water temperature was near freezing, and visibility was limited to just a few feet. Each diver carried multiple oxygen tanks and specialized equipment to handle the challenging conditions. As the group entered the narrowest part of the passage, disaster struck. Jari and Patrick became separated from the others. In the pitch-black water, even the strongest lights could only penetrate a few feet. Disoriented and unable to find their way, the 2 divers panicked. The tight passage made it impossible to turn around, forcing the divers to move forward in hopes of finding an exit. Their oxygen supplies began to run dangerously low. In the chaos, Jari's equipment malfunctioned, cutting off his air supply. Patrick tried to help, but the confined space made it nearly impossible to assist. Both men drowned, their bodies trapped in the frigid depths of the cave. When the remaining divers realized what had happened, they surfaced and called for help. The recovery effort was one of the most complex in diving history. It took a team of elite divers 3 months to retrieve the bodies, navigating the same deadly passage that had claimed Jari and Patrick's lives. The operation required cutting-edge technology and extraordinary bravery, as the rescuers risked their own lives to bring closure to the victims' families. Today, Pluto Cave remains a popular destination for expert divers, but the deaths of Jari and Patrick serve as a chilling reminder of the risks involved. Their story continues to be a topic of discussion in the diving community, highlighting the need for caution and preparation in extreme environments. These stories are more than just tragedies. They are lessons about the limits of human endurance and the unforgiving nature of the underground world. Caves and underwater passages are not just physical challenges. They test every aspect of human resilience, from physical strength to mental fortitude. For Jon Edward Jones, Floyd Collins, and the divers of Pluto Cave, their passion for exploration came at the ultimate cost. Their stories remind us that nature is both beautiful and deadly, a force that must be respected. The tragedies we've covered today are not isolated incidents. Every year, countless adventurers lose their lives in similar situations, often because of a single miscalculation or an unexpected event. It is a sobering reminder that no discovery is worth risking your life. To those who dream of exploring caves or diving into the unknown, take these lessons to heart. Preparation, caution, and respect for nature can mean the difference between life and death. Thank you for watching, and stay safe. Let these stories serve as a warning and a tribute to those who dared to venture into the depths.